What is good, everyone? A-Rock Oakley back with another video. This is going to be part two of Let's Build Wedge. So we're sticking with Town. Thermal Oscillator just dropped, so that card is pretty crazy. So let's take a look at that card in general right now. Is the 27 HP base that your minimum deck size is decreased by 5. This is something we can consider to increase our consistency. But I think I want to be sticking with Tarkin Town because of two key cards in the list right now, and that is our Y-Wing package. The Gray Squadron Y-Wing can create awkward decisions for them to make, and obviously the Red Squadron Y-Wing with all the indirect damage. This can set up Tarkin Towns to take out units that we want. Now, also, there are times where these cards feel lackluster, but I just think being able to leverage Tarkin Town to push more damage is where we want to be living. So, sticking with Tarkin Town, some of these cards are going to switch, so we're going to be building this on the fly, which is going to be great. BB-8 was a great pilot that we were just able to have as a free pilot, and kind of if we were to ever pick up some resistance units, we could leverage this, but I think, again, we're just leading so heavily into the Rebel package because of cards like Rebel Assault that BB-8 is actually out for now. And we'll talk about why here in a second. 9-Num, amazing. R2 still amazing. I still love the two of Cassian Andor. Leia, we have brought down to make space for some more pilots. And kind of the rest of the list feels pretty much the same. Yeah, we still have a bunch of cards to consider. So let's dive in to some of the biggest cards that have been added. And the first one we have that is going into our sideboard is going to be, where is he at? Where's our boy Frisk? He's a 2-drop. Huh. Do I have it up here? Aha! Jump to Lightspeed. Please? I said please. Alright, so where's he at? Frisk. Frisk. Now this is a really solid card. I think that this is going to end up being a sideboard card, but it could be a 1 or a 2 of in the main as just an additional pilot. It's a solid ground unit as a 3/2. So if you have to play this into the ground, we're not actually feeling that bad about it. So absolutely considering this as an option, as one of the better cards that we were able to pick up. And when you play it as an upgrade, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less. So this can be, again, this might be the perfect card to have as a tech card into other pilots. There's a lot of great pilots that are getting spoiled. So this is a card that I think might have a spot in the main deck, but we'll find space for it down the line. And now our big, pun intended, our big deck upgrade is Big's Darklighter. This is crazy. This card's so good. It has insane synergy. This is going to be a 3 of. I have no doubt because it can be free with Wedge's ability. A 3/4 as on the ground can be great in the later turns if we don't have ships. But when this is piloting, your fighters get overwhelmed. So that's huge. So if we ever need to go into units or push over sentinels, we're going to guarantee some damage. If it's on a transport, it makes a Bright Hope a 4/8. That's crazy. So that's going to be hard to push through. And if it's attached to a speeder, it gains grit. Think about Rogue Squadron Skirmisher, which we play in the deck. This is going to run into something. You follow up with that action if you attacked with Wedge, or we can use Wedge's ability. Now we can make our Rogue Squadron Skirmisher an absolute threat on the ground with that grit and the extra buff to the HP that you're getting from Biggs being a part of it. So super cool to see that. I think that is a really big upgrade to the deck and what we're trying to do. So we're gonna push Frisk down to the sideboard temporarily. The only reason I want to push him to the sideboard is just because we're gonna see if the deck even needs it, where the meta goes. That might be a call to bring Frisk into the main in general. And cards that I have felt are on the chopping block are like stuff like Four Cause I believe in. Four Cause I believe in. Wing Leader, it feels bad into a lot of the ping decks where it just feels like it dies a lot, and if we're getting tapped down or we're dying, that the card just feels it doesn't do as much. But I can definitely see that shifting around. It's definitely one that I want to be at least two of, maybe three. So to make space for bigs, we're going to go down on wing leaders. Because I will say, in the little bit of testing that I've been able to do, it almost feels better on the second turn is to be playing a red leader if we have a pilot down from the first turn, or Red 3, or Millennium Falcon. Occasionally, we want to be ambushing our blue leaders. So this doesn't always feel like our best uh, second turn play. It can be, because, I mean, we've already seen what happens when you go Green Squadron A-Wing into Wing Leader in the Sabine decks and these aggressive decks. So that is something that we do need to be aware of, and that can be a line we go for, because then piloting up that Wing Leader or the A-Wing later can both become threats. And that play line of deal 5 on the second turn into Metal Ceremony into 3 drop on the 4 resource turn that's 9 more damage for your 14 damage across the first 2 turns. Sounds pretty sick. So not always a card we're going to be cutting, but definitely something we should be considering. Outside of that, 9-Num just been absolutely insane. Wedge, I've deployed him into the ground plenty of times to win games, just as extra damage. Cassian Andor coming out of the resource row on the 5 and 6 resource turn is pretty nuts. X-Wing still feels like a solid unit. Like, everything here feels good. And I just don't necessarily see too many cards that I'm missing out on. BB-8 being one of those that I'll put it in the sideboard for now, even though we're gonna not be using him necessarily. But this is starting to fill itself out. I'm hoping for cards. I'm hoping for is like we get like a 1-cost decent ship that's in these colors, to where we can start to play around with some pilot shenanigans a little bit more. Being able to play a cheap ship into a Chewbacca on the second turn feels, as a piloted Chewbacca, could be really, really could lead to some seriously cool play lines. So yeah, gonna keep testing this around. I'll keep you all in the loop as we get more spoilers, but this deck is looking fun. I'm telling you this, the early testing, this is Rebel Assault is the best card in the deck, and it's not even close. You use this if you have 2 ships, play this as your first action, because we're going to be able to play stuff for cheaper. If you can line it up well, play this as your first action, guarantee your damage, and then follow up with piloting. So you avoid that removal, and it makes it awkward for them because they might not go for the removal, and then you pilot it up to get it outside of removal range, or also just presenting like insane threats in multiple ways. So use your Rebel Assault to your advantage. Go wide with Red Leader. All of it's great. Loving the direction, loving what this deck could offer, and I'm excited to bring more. So this is part 2. Let me know again if there's cards below that I missed. Super stoked to be doing this, and our boy Wedge is getting some love. Bigs upgrades. We're huge today, so cool. We'll like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. May the force be with you.